Welcome to the Retro Graveyard. This time we have an original Nintendo Game Boy, first released in Japan and North America in 1989 and in Europe in 1990. But it's not this one. The one I have is going to need some fixing up. It has some vertical lines missing on both sides of the screen, the sound doesn't work and it needs a new case. So let's sort that out now. So here is the Game Boy. I brought this a while ago. First of all, it wouldn't switch on. That turned out to be due to battery leakage, which you can see here. This has caused the terminals to corrode, so the connections aren't very good. After giving them a bit of a clean, the Game Boy switched on. Then I noticed the screen wasn't working quite right. You can see here some vertical lines on both sides of the screen aren't visible, so I proceeded to take this apart, which wasn't easy as one of the screws had rusted up and wasn't going to budge. I ended up getting the case apart, but I snapped a corner off a circuit board, which disconnected one of the wires for the speaker, so I'll need to repair that too. So after a few months of being busy doing other stuff, I decided to repair this today. I have a new case for it to go in. I could have cleaned this one up, but I wanted a black case. So first of all, I'm going to take everything out of this original case. 2 screws holding this small board that has the headphone socket on. Then under the screen is the board at the back. I remove 2 screws and decide the screen is best disconnected and placed out of the way for a moment so it's not flapping around and getting damaged. This is held in by a ribbon cable that is easily removed. Now the board lifts out. No need for the old case now. I will keep it for any future projects though. 2 of the battery terminals are soldered to this board. Luckily they aren't the ones that have been badly corroded by battery acid. I'm just going to scrape off the small amount that is on there. I'm now going to mount that board into the new case as I will need the batteries plugged in when I'm repairing the screen. Now to screw that in. Putting the batteries in ready. Now I will connect the screen back up and test to make sure I haven't caused any further problems. To begin with, for the screen repair I need to remove this foam strip to get to the area underneath. It's held on by a sticky strip that will also have to be removed, otherwise it will melt, as I will be using a soldering iron on here. Both of these come off very easily with a not too sharp knife. Now to get those lines to reappear on the screen, I will need to apply heat using a soldering iron to both ends of this ribbon cable. Luckily this won't melt under the heat, but enough heat will get through to reflow the connections to the screen underneath. The soldering iron is set to 450 Fahrenheit for this. I just need to rub the soldering iron gently on the end here and you can see immediately that something is happening. The more I rub, the more lines appear until they have all returned on that side. And now to repeat the process on the other side. It doesn't take long at all. Then once it has cooled down, I will test by pressing down my finger to see if it affects the screen at all. In this case, it all seems fine. I will pop a game in to test it out. In this case it's the Simpsons, Bart versus the Juggernauts. That all looks good to me. I didn't have any double-sided tape to stick the foam strip back on under the screen. Maybe it will stay on if I'm lucky. Next to sort out the piece of board I snapped off. So I unsoldered the wire I needed, then scraped away some of the surface here so I could add some solder and fix the wire on. And now to test that has worked. Success! Sounds good to me. Before putting it back together, I'm going to give the screen a clean. I decided to keep the original coloured buttons to go with the case. The original rubber pads all need a clean, so I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol to do that. Now I need to place the buttons and rubber pads where they're originally seated. That foam strip is definitely not staying on, so that will have to remain off, at least for now. And then I noticed that the other speaker wire has come off, so I soldered it back on and it still works. Now I can go ahead and put this back together. If I place these back to back, I can lower the part with the screen on into the front part of the case. A bunch of screws hold this board in place. Once that is done, it just goes together like this. It just needs 4 more screws on the back. I have a nice new screen window to attach. And now to peel off the protective film. Okay, so I'll switch it on and try it now it's all complete. I'll try the Bart Simpson game first. I have no idea how to play this. I'll just keep dying. Anyway, it seems to work fine. I'm just going to try one more game. It's Race Days, which is actually 2 games in one. Dirty Racing and Jeep Jamboree.
So that was the original Nintendo Game Boy. The screen issue was quite an easy fix and changing over to a new case was no problem either. I will keep the original case and no doubt clean it up for any future projects. But for now I'm off to see what else I can find in the retro graveyard. Thanks for your attendance.